Hey there, welcome back. I know this is not like my normal style videos. Normally I've been doing vlogs the past few weeks, but for this week's video I thought I could do something a little bit different, and I thought we could make for this week's video I thought we could do something different and make some coffee. So I just got this the other day. This is the aeropress. Now for those of you that aren't familiar, the aeropress is meant to replicate a little bit of what you could get out of espresso, where it's immersion brewing mixed with applying some pressure to help the water pass through the grounds, and it gets you a really nice, strong, concentrated brew. But what's great about this is it's super versatile. You can do like an espresso style, or you could do like an Americano. You could even make a latte out of it if you wanted to, if you have a milk foamer. So I think that's why I love it. I actually haven't made coffee at home probably in like a year, just because I'm so used to just making coffee while I'm at work. But I realized the days that I'm off, the caffeine headaches are real, but I decided to finally have some of my own equipment, and I'm really excited because I have actually never really used this before. I made 1 cup this morning and it was really good. So I thought I would just make some coffee today for this week's video. So let's do it. Alright, so if you're wanting to do this with me, you're going to need a couple of things. You're going to need a kettle. I prefer a gooseneck, but you don't really need any specific kettle for the way that I'm going to be making the AeroPress today. You're going to need a grinder, which I have my grinder right here. You're going to need your AeroPress equipment and a scale. So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and fill up my kettle, and I'm going to do about 200 grams of water. Alright, so I've got some nice filtered water with me, so we're going to go ahead and measure out 200 grams of water. Alright, so we're at a little bit over, we're at about 215, but I like to do a little bit extra just to account for any water that gets steamed off when it's boiled. So we're going to close our kettle, and we're going to go ahead and get that started. So now we're gonna weigh and grind out our coffee, and I'm gonna have my coffee right here. So I normally keep my coffee in the freezer just so it stays, just so the flavors can be locked in and there's no degassing or anything like that. So I'm gonna weigh out about 18 grams. I'm gonna tear out my scale again and pour out 18 grams. Take some out, I'm a little bit over. You can probably hear my kettle boiling. All right, my scale isn't really exact, but I do like to add just a little bit more where it's just like really close to 19, but still on 18, just to account for any chaff or anything that gets stuck up in the grinder. All right, so I'm gonna take our beans and put them in our grinder. And for this one, we're gonna be doing about a medium fine grind, kind of like table salt. It's pretty close, so I'll go ahead and get this grinding, and I apologize for the noise, I may just edit it out. So now that our beans are all ground up, I'm gonna set this a little bit, and we're all ready to go. I don't know if you can see that, but that's kind of what we should be looking for. And then our water has stopped boiling. I'm gonna let it cool down just a little bit because we wanna shoot for about 200 to 205 degrees Fahrenheit. We're gonna go ahead and get our AeroPress ready. I'm actually gonna be doing an inverted method. So where you would brew like this, you know, pouring the coffee and having the filter and cap in there, I'm actually gonna flip it upside down and set the plunger in there like that. So we're gonna set this on top of the scale and just set those in there. And I'm going to kind of shake it a little bit to level out the coffee bed. Tear out our scale. So now I think our water is ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it right here. And what we're gonna start with is make sure our scale is tiered out, and then we're gonna add about 100 grams of water. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. All right, so it ended up being perfectly at 100. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our AeroPress stir stick, and we're just gonna stir this around a couple of times just to saturate the grounds. So after stirring, we're gonna go ahead and add the rest of the 100 grams of water. All right, so we're right at 200, and we're gonna let this steep for a little bit. I forgot to mention this, but you should have a timer going. I don't have mine right now because my timer is my phone, so I'm kind of just winging it right now, but it should be about a 2-minute, 30-second brew time. So when we started, we added the 100 grams of water, stirred, and then added the other 100 grams. So you're gonna let this sit until about 1:45. And once you get to that point, we're actually gonna stir it a couple more times just to help release any more CO2. And then after that is when we're going to brew into our cup. So I'm gonna let this brew for a little bit. All right, I think we're good. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this another good stir. Just make sure everybody's getting to know each other really well. I'm noticing that I didn't really align this really well. It's kind of lopsided, kind of like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but I think it's gonna be all right. So then what we're gonna do is grab our filter. I have some paper aeropress filters just because they came with the box. So we're gonna grab that, and then we're gonna grab our cap, put those in, and then secure the filter and the cap. And I'm going to take my mug right here, and this is a little bit of a maneuver, but you kind of just want to flip it over. And then what we're going to do is we're going to press down pretty firmly. And our coffee is brewing out, and I'm just going to kind of keep pressing down like this. Those of you who have a French press should be kind of familiar with this motion. So they're gonna push everything out nice and easy with an even amount of pressure until we hear a hissing sound. So I don't know if you can hear that, but that is the hissing sound. And that's just basically all the coffee being pushed out. So now we are good. I'm just gonna put that in my sink. And we have some nice, beautiful coffee. I don't know if you can see that. This brews about 7 ounces, which is perfect for me. If you're wanting to do a little bit more, the way you would do it is you do 2.6 grams for every fluid ounce of water that you're gonna be using. All right, so let's give it a taste. Cheers. By the way, the beans that I used was an Ethiopian from Onyx. It's really light, really citrusy. I'm thinking I probably over-extracted this a little bit just because of not having a timer. But I am gonna let this cool down for a second just so I can really taste the flavors, because sometimes if a coffee is pretty hot, the heat can mask the flavor. So after letting it cool down for a second, we should have a better idea of what our extraction was. All right, so I just took some time to clean up a little bit while our brew is cooling down. And I will say this, the aeropress is probably the easiest cleanup I've ever had to do for any sort of brewing method. It's all right there, it's really easy to handle, it's all plastic. And the cool thing is that with the way that we brewed it, doing it inverted, you can actually just push the grounds all the way down and it will come out just like a puck of espresso. And then after that, you just wash the brewer and you're good to go. That's it. It's super easy. I think our brew is ready. I think it's cooled down a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and give it another taste and see what we get. Yeah, I do think I over-extracted this a little bit just because the flavors that I'm getting are not really what I'm looking for. I'm getting, it's like a little burnt, a little bit of too much flavor, and this is really, this is a lighter roast, so it should be really light, really easy to drink. It should have like some really nice berry notes, it should be really silky, and this is kind of just not what I'm looking for. So if you're wanting to do this, I highly suggest and recommend that you have a timer going with you. But overall, I think despite those things, I think this is a really good cup of coffee. And I did get this fellow mug about a I did get this Fellow mug about a month ago, and it's really, really nice. This is the Carter Everywhere mug. I really like it because it has the wide mouth. It has a ceramic inside too, so it really feels like a mug, but you're able to take it with you. This video is not sponsored by AeroPress or Fellow, but if you're wanting to, hit me up. But yeah, that's all I really have for you this week. So if you wanted to see more brewing videos or coffee videos or anything in this realm, I'd really like to know. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. I'd love to hear any of your suggestions that you have. The comment section is a great place for that. I'd love to see it. I don't get very many comments right now, so of course I read all of them. And above all else, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. I'll be making more videos like this potentially, or more vlogs, or I'm not really sure yet. It could be anything. But I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll see you soon.